quick concepts for Math 76. Today we're going to be talking about missing numbers in addition and subtraction. So what do I mean by that? Well, this is kind of your start of algebra. Algebra is anytime you replace a number with a variable. A variable is a fancy word for letter in math. So here we have missing number. We're saying 12 plus something is 31. Now, what you need to understand is, do I want a bigger number than 31 or do I want a smaller number than 31? So if you're standing on the outside here, you obviously are going to want a smaller number than 31 because 12 plus a bigger number than 31 would not add up to equal 31. So there's only two things you can do with an addition problem when you're missing something. You can either add or you can subtract. In this case, we are going to subtract because we need a smaller number in between. So I'm going to subtract up. So what that looks like is it's going to be 31 minus 12. Now, obviously, we cannot take 2 from 1, so I'm going to borrow 11 minus 2, we start at 11 and count backwards, 10, 9, and 2 minus 1 is 19. So m is equal to 19. Well, let's check our work and make sure we have done this correctly. So instead of m, I'm going to replace it with what m equals, which is 19, and we're going to add. 2 plus 9 is 9, 10, 11. I'm going to put down the 1 and carry it. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 31. So now I have checked my work and it works out. Let's try another one. We have 36 plus 17 plus 5 plus n equals 64. Now before we can figure out what n is, we have a little bit of work to do. We need to go ahead and add what we can add. What we can add is these three numbers right here. So I'm going to set them up long ways. It's just a little bit easier to add when you set things up long ways. So 6 plus 7 is going to be, I'm going to start at 6 and add 7 to it. So it's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then I'm going to add 5 to 13. So I'm going to say 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm going to put down my 8 and carry my 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. So now I'm going to rewrite this to look like this. Or even better, I could write it like this. So once again, do we want a number bigger than 64 or smaller? And of course we want something smaller because it needs to add up to be 64. So I'm going to subtract up. So this will be 64 minus 58. So this we have to borrow 14 minus 8. I'm going to take 8 from 14. So 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And of course 5 minus 5 is 0. So n is equal to 6. Well, let's make sure we are correct. I'm going to say 58 plus 6 is what? This is going to be 14, carry the 1, and it worked out beautifully. All right, so let's talk about missing numbers in subtraction next. So let's say we have something like this. We have w minus 16 equals 24. So once again, I want you to step back and ask yourself, do we want a bigger number than 24 or a smaller number? Well, we have to subtract 16 from a number to get to 24, so we're going to need a bigger number. So here, when the missing thing is the minuend, which we're not going to even try to name these things right now, we are going to add up. So I'm going to say 24 plus 16. 4 plus 6 is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 more is 40. So W is equal to 40. Now, we are ready to check it. I'm going to replace that W with 40, and let's see what happens. 10 minus 6 is 4, and 3 minus 1 is 2. So your answer here is 24. It matches that one. So we know this is correct. So let's try another one. Let's say we have 236 minus y equals 152. So I'm going to, oops, sorry about that. I'm going to rewrite it like this. 236 minus w equals 152. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we looking for? Are we looking for a number greater than these two numbers or less than? And it's got to be less than, because if we add those two together, it's going to be larger than the 236, and you can't take a larger number from a smaller number. So when the missing number is in the middle, we are going to subtract down. So what does that mean? I'm going to come over here. I'm going to say 236 minus 152. 6 minus 2 would take us down to 5, 4. Cannot take 5 from 3, so I'm going to borrow. 13 minus 5 would be 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And then that would be 84. Now let's check our work. Always check your work with these. I'm not big on checking work, but when it comes to missing number, usually tends to make you feel a little bit better. 6 minus 4 is 2. This one we have to borrow. 13 minus 8 would be 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And then bringing down the 1, it'd be 152. And that is it for missing numbers in addition and subtraction.